The Book of Boba Fett was created by Jon Favreau and stars Tamara Morrison and Ming-Na Wen. Having taken control of the throne of his former employer, crime lord Boba Fett seeks to establish order to the crime-ridden Tatooine city of Mos Espa. Growing up, I'm gonna be honest, I was never a Boba Fett kid. For me, he was always what he was meant to be. A guy in the background who may have looked cool, but didn't really do that much. Growing up with the original trilogy, I was always more of a Darth Vader kid, and even Jango Fett in the prequels, I was never a Jango kid either. I was always a Count Dooku or Darth Maul kid. The Fetts have never crossed my mind as the big end-all be-all villains or characters in any way, shape, or form. That was, for like most people, until I saw him return in Mandalorian Season 2, kill multiple platoons of stormtroopers, shoot Bib Fortuna, and take control of Jabba's palace. So at that point, I would say that I was a pretty moderate fan of Boba Fett, and seeing that he was getting his own series, I was moderately excited for this. And after seeing the series that I was only moderately excited for, oh man, that was awesome. I mean, that was better than I could have ever anticipated it to be. I mean, there are weird problems that I have with it, but other than that, man, I love this series so much so far. So starting out with the positives, I'm going to go in a bit more of a different route than one might expect, because Boba Fett is awesome in this! Tamara Morrison fully embodies the experienced badass that the fandom has been hyping this character up as since his creation. He's intimidating, his fights and weapons are cool and destructive in their own ways, but at the same time, there's always a level of honor and respect that we see him gain throughout the season. If I wasn't a fan of Boba Fett before, I sure as hell am now. Ming-Na Wen is also incredibly awesome as Fennec Shand. I mean, she's Ming-Na Wen. It would be weird for her not to be awesome in anything that she's in. And the two of them, both Boba Fett and Fennec, have so much great chemistry in their own stoic ways that I have henceforth nicknamed them the Bounty Buddies. Let's make that a hashtag. But along with the fantastic characters, we also get fantastic world building to go along with it, bringing familiar aspects from previous Star Wars movies and TV shows into this modern age. From Mandalorian to Clone Wars to even the holiday special, elements from each are brought into this series and modernized. And while some can just scoff this off as nothing but fan service, it also helps to make Boba Fett a character who has been through the prequels, original trilogy, and now the sequel trilogy, feels so connected with everything else in this universe. And along with that, you also got all of the obvious stuff that comes with a collaboration with Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and this entire team for a Star Wars project. For one, this series looks gorgeous. We're stuck on Tatooine for most of it, but just the shots they are able to get from the sand, from the sunsets, to even a bunch of slow-mo hero shots, it's awesome cinematography, and I loved every bit of it. The music's also amazing. Ludwig Göransson has once again made another iconic theme that the internet has made no less awesome. And along with that, I love the down-to-earth mafia feel of this entire show. There are definitely elements of Sopranos, Goodfellas, and especially Godfather sprinkled into almost every single episode, and I loved it. I just love this season. I just love what this series is offering so much, and so much more than I ever thought I would. But as much as I love Book of Boba Fett, that is until we detour away from the main storyline. Around episode 5 and 6, the story deviates away from the main storyline to an entirely different plot. Sure, this plot comes into play with the main story of the season later, and I did enjoy them as standalone stories, but for these two episodes, I almost completely forgot we were watching Book of Boba Fett. And because I was loving Book of Boba Fett so much, that's a big problem in my opinion. I mean, even in Mandalorian Season 2, when we were setting up Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, or hell, Boba Fett, Mando was always a centerpiece of these stories. He was always an essential character. Boba Fett for episodes 5 and 6 is barely in it, and he doesn't even say a line. I know fans are sort of split on this decision, whether this is a good or bad thing, but for me, I just can't get over it. I'm here to watch Book of Boba Fett, and these 2 episodes didn't give me Book of Boba Fett. That, along with the fact that there are a couple characters that feel out of place with the Star Wars, or more specifically, Tatooine setting, and every episode I do have a nitpick with, mainly with the pacing of a few episodes, but apart from that, those are really my only complaints, and for the most part, they are either small complaints or complaints that I only seem to have. I love Book of Boba Fett Season 1, which is amazing to me because going into this series, I was only lukewarm on the character. Now, the series with his name in the title is, in my opinion, one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars property ever. The characters are all fantastic. I loved the more grounded storyline. The action throughout the show was awesome. The visuals were gorgeous. The music was incredible. And the fan service, while abundant, always served a part in furthering the story or fleshing out the world. I have my issues with the show, mainly involving when it isn't the show that we're focusing on. But apart from that, I actually really loved this season, and I'm surprised that I'm in the minority on saying that. I'm gonna give the Book of Boba Fett Season 1 an A. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments down below, who is your favorite Mandalorian? Is it Boba Fett? Is it Din Djarin? Is it Sabine? For me, I think my favorite Mandalorian is Bo-Katan. She is, in my opinion, the most interesting Mandalorian out of all of these choices. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are the best. And don't forget to click subscribe and click the bell icon down below to stay up to date on all things movie, all things TV, all things nerd.